Someone just tried to destroy you, not disagree with you, not compete with you, destroy you. They smiled at your face every single day while building the case against you in the dark. They used information you trusted them with as ammunition. They took what you created, what you sacrificed for, what you stayed late and showed up early for, and they turned it into a weapon pointed directly at you. And the worst part? You played fair. You did everything right. You were honest when lying would have been easier. You were loyal when betrayal would have been more profitable. You believed that if you just kept your head down and did good work, the world would eventually recognize it. It didn't. Now you are standing in the wreckage of that belief, feeling something that has no clean name. It is not just anger. It is the specific, suffocating feeling of someone who finally understands that the game they were playing was never the real game. That while you were following rules, they were rewriting them. That while you were building, they were dismantling. You have felt this. The temperature that drops when you walk into a room. The conversations that stop a half-second too late. The opportunity that went to someone less qualified, less prepared, less deserving, but better positioned. You have watched people you know to be hollow, get handed things you earned with your hands, and your time, and your integrity. That is not bad luck. That is the brutal geometry of a game most people never get taught how to play. Machiavelli spent his entire life studying one question. Why do good people consistently lose to bad people? And what he discovered will permanently change how you see every conflict you have ever been in. The answer is not that bad people are smarter. It is not that they are stronger. The answer is that good people are playing the wrong game entirely. They play the game they wish existed. The fair one, the honest one, the one where integrity is automatically rewarded. But dirty players play the game that actually exists, the one where perception defeats reality, where timing beats truth, where the person who controls the narrative controls everything else. Once you understand the game that actually exists, you do not have to become dirty to win it. You just have to become conscious. You have to stop playing with your eyes closed and start operating with the precision of someone who sees 10 moves before making one. This is not about revenge. Revenge is what amateurs reach for. This is about something more devastating and more permanent, making dirty players regret ever selecting you as a target. Not because you hurt them, but because you made them irrelevant. Before we begin, understand this. What I'm about to share is not content I can put everywhere. There are aspects of psychological strategy and self-defense that platforms suppress, because people who understand these principles become very difficult to manipulate. What I am sharing today is what I can share publicly. Use it to protect yourself. Use it to defend what is yours. Do not become the thing you are fighting. Drop this affirmation in the comments right now. I outplay dirty tactics with strategic intelligence. Trick 1. The mirror of exposure. When someone plays dirty against you, your first instinct is to expose them immediately. Call them out. Force everyone to see the truth. This is exactly what they expect, and it is exactly what will make you look weak. The moment you become the accuser, the burden shifts entirely to you, and dirty players are extraordinarily skilled at making accusers look unstable. The mirror of exposure works differently. You do not tell people someone is untrustworthy. You create conditions where their untrustworthiness becomes visible on its own. You do not accuse. You architect. Someone at work has been stealing your ideas in meetings. presenting your thinking as their own, collecting credit while you watch in silence. Your instinct says, confront them. The mirror of exposure says something colder. In the next meeting, propose an idea that sounds brilliant but contains a fatal flaw you have deliberately concealed. When they steal it and present it as their own, the flaw surfaces publicly in front of everyone who matters. They expose themselves. You said nothing. You did nothing. You simply understood how they operate and stepped aside to let them operate against themselves. When you accuse someone, people must choose sides, your word against theirs. But when someone exposes themselves, there is no debate. The room sees it in real time. This is power without fingerprints, justice without confrontation, victory without a single visible move. And the mirror of exposure does not just reveal one incident, it reveals a pattern. Once people see someone expose themselves once, they begin quietly re-examining every previous interaction through a new lens. The dirty player's entire history gets rewritten by the people around them, and you never had to write a word of it. Think about the last time someone exposed themselves in front of you. You never looked at them the same way again. Neither will anyone else. Trick 2. Strategic opacity. In any conflict, the person who reveals less wins. The person who shows their hand first loses. Most people believe transparency builds trust. In genuine relationships, this is true. But in conflict with a dirty player, transparency is a weapon you are handing to your enemy. Every detail you share is a target they can attack. Every plan you announce is a strategy they can counter. Machiavelli wrote that everyone sees what you appear to be, but few experience what you really are. Strategic opacity is that principle applied as a survival mechanism. Someone is quietly positioning themselves to replace you, spreading doubt about your competence, building alliances against you while maintaining a professional surface. The instinct is to defend yourself. Prove your value. Explain your contributions. This is transparent. And transparency here is weakness. Strategic opacity says you do the opposite. You let them feel confident. You share just enough to reinforce their false sense of progress. Meanwhile, invisibly, you are building alliances they cannot see, gathering documentation they do not suspect exists, preparing a response they cannot anticipate. When you finally move, it is not a defense. It is a checkmate they never saw approaching. Information is currency. Spend it deliberately. Do not volunteer details that do not serve your purpose. Do not explain yourself to people who are not entitled to the explanation. Silence is not weakness. Silence is the discipline of someone building something the room cannot yet see and will not be ready for when it arrives. Ask yourself right now, how much have you been revealing without realizing it? Every unnecessary explanation is a window you opened into your position. Trick 3. Controlled reaction. Dirty players need a reaction from you. They need you angry, erratic, defensive, and loud. Because emotional people make mistakes. They say things they cannot take back. They discredit themselves publicly. They become completely predictable. The moment you react from feeling rather than strategy, you hand them a map to your interior. And they will use that map every time they want to destabilize you. Controlled reaction is the discipline of denying them that map entirely. Machiavelli observed that the greatest leaders were not the ones who never felt anger. They were the ones who never revealed anger until the exact moment it served their purpose. You feel everything, you process everything, but you show only what strategically benefits you. Someone attacks you publicly in a meeting. Every instinct says, defend yourself immediately. Controlled reaction says, pause. Let the silence sit for one long, deliberate moment. Then say something measured and move forward. No argument, no visible wound. Just acknowledgement and momentum. The person who attacked you expected fireworks and got fog. They threw a punch and hit air. Now they are the uncertain ones, and anxious people overreach. Overreaching people expose themselves. But controlled reaction goes further. You do not react in the moment, but you do respond on your timeline, in your arena, with your framing. A week later, in a different setting, you present information that quietly dismantles their position entirely. No reference to the attack, just facts that make their previous stance look uninformed. Immediate reaction is defensive. Delayed response is authoritative. One puts you on their agenda, the other puts them on yours. Drop this affirmation in the comments. I respond with strategy, not emotion. Trick 4. The reverse accusation. Dirty players are almost always guilty of exactly what they accuse you of. The one who steals credit accuses you of hoarding resources. The manipulator warns everyone about manipulators. The liar questions your honesty. Psychologists call this projection. It deflects attention from their own behavior and preemptively discredits anyone who might later expose them. Machiavelli observed that people reveal themselves most completely through their accusations. What someone is most defensive about is almost always where they are most guilty. Someone accuses you of something you did not do. Instead of becoming defensive, you become cooperative. You say, that is a serious concern. We should absolutely examine it thoroughly. And if we are examining this, we should make sure we are reviewing everyone who might be involved, including you. You agreed with the seriousness of the accusation. You welcomed scrutiny. You expanded that scrutiny to include the accuser. If they were projecting their own guilt, they now face their own exposure. If they were attacking you falsely, they must now explain why they are exempt from the standard they demanded for you. Either way, they lose. False accusers are almost never prepared to face the investigation they demand of others. Most retreat immediately, claiming the matter is not that serious or that they were misunderstood. That retreat is visible to everyone watching. It permanently damages their credibility for every future accusation they attempt. Do not deliver this with anger. Deliver it with calm, logical consistency. The message lands harder when it arrives quietly. Trick 5. Strategic withdrawal. Most people believe winning requires staying in the fight until the other side collapses. Machiavelli understood something more sophisticated. Sometimes the most powerful move available to you is to disappear entirely. Strategic withdrawal is not retreat. It is not surrender. It is the deliberate removal of yourself from a battlefield your opponent chose, and your quiet reappearance on terrain that favors you completely. Dirty players need your engagement. Your resistance is the oxygen their tactics breathe. But when you withdraw, not just physically, but psychologically and emotionally, the conflict cannot sustain itself. The person still fighting starts to look unhinged. They're making accusations about someone who seems entirely unbothered, maintaining a conflict against someone who has clearly moved on. They look obsessed. You look elevated. This means becoming a gray rock, professionally present, personally unreachable. You respond to what requires response with perfect correctness and zero emotional content. You become completely uninteresting as a target, steady, flat, unrewarding. This drives dirty players to a specific desperation because their tactics depend entirely on your reaction. Without it, they are performing for an audience that is slowly losing interest. They are the ones who cannot stop bringing your name up. They are the ones who cannot let it go. You have already moved on to a different field where your actual performance is doing work that no amount of gossip can undo. Machiavelli warned that fighting every battle leads to exhaustion and defeat. Most conflicts with dirty players are designed to drain your energy and pull your focus from what you are building. Recognize that design. Refuse it. The most powerful message you can send someone trying to destroy you is indifference. Nothing communicates strength like someone who has already moved on. Trick 6. Asymmetric intelligence. Dirty players are counting on you never discovering this. Respond in kind. Two things happen. Respond in kind. Two things happen simultaneously. You normalize their tactics, and you abandon your greatest advantage, the fact that you are playing a fundamentally more durable game than they are. Asymmetric intelligence means deploying completely different weapons than the ones being used against you. Weapons they have no framework for countering. You respond to their lies with documented, verifiable truth. You respond to their aggression with composure so consistent it becomes conspicuous. You respond to their chaos with order so steady that the contrast alone begins to indict them. Their tactics have a structural ceiling. Every lie works until the truth arrives. Every manipulation works until the pattern becomes visible. But integrity, applied consistently over months and years, faces no such ceiling. It only compounds. It only becomes more established, more credible, more difficult to attack. They are sprinting. You are building. Sprinters always exhaust themselves before the finish line. Drop this affirmation in the comments. I fight with truth, patience, and strategy. Trick 7. Preemptive framing. By the time you are defending yourself, you have already lost the initiative. Defense is always one step behind. And one step behind in a power conflict is the difference between controlling the story and being consumed by it. Preemptive framing means you shape how events will be interpreted before the attack ever arrives. You set the lens through which people will see everything that follows, making dirty tactics nearly impossible to land because the frame that would catch them was built by you before they were deployed. Machiavelli understood that the person who frames the story controls how it is understood. If a dirty player frames you as incompetent before you frame yourself as capable, you spend all your energy fighting their frame rather than advancing your position. You document your contributions publicly as they happen. You establish the narrative while you are living it, not after it has been disputed. If you are working with someone you do not fully trust, you send regular updates to relevant stakeholders, covering your progress, your decisions, your reasoning, not defensively. There has been no attack yet, just thoroughly, because contemporaneous documentation makes revisionism structurally impossible. You did not wait for the lie. You made the lie ineffective before it was even attempted. The psychology behind this is called the primacy effect. People believe the first clear story they hear. The first frame sticks. Contradictions that arrive later look like backpedaling, like revision, like desperation. By framing events as they happen, you claim that primacy. Your version becomes the baseline. Build the wall before the enemy arrives. The wall you start building during the attack is already too late. Trick 8. The Alliance Arsenal. Dirty players prefer isolated targets. Isolated people are easier to gaslight, easier to discredit, easier to overwhelm. Their entire approach depends on your word standing alone against theirs. One person's credibility against another's, with nothing to corroborate yours. Build the alliance arsenal before they can isolate you, and you remove that advantage entirely. Machiavelli understood that power is not additive. It is multiplicative. Two aligned people are not twice as strong as one. They are exponentially stronger because they corroborate each other's reality, reinforce each other's credibility, and present a position that is structurally difficult to dismantle. Most people wait until they are under attack to start building alliances. By then it is already too late. You cannot ask someone to trust your character in a crisis if you have never given them a reason to before it. Strategic alliances must be built during peacetime. You invest in people when you need nothing from them. You add value before you ever need value returned. Then when dirty players move against you, you are not alone. You have people who already know who you are. When lies are spread about you, multiple independent voices step forward and contradict them. When one person says something, it is an opinion. When multiple people say the same thing independently, it becomes perceived as fact. Your alliance arsenal is also an intelligence network. Your allies see things you cannot see from your position. They warn you early. They tell you about moves being made before those moves arrive. The person embedded in a genuine network almost cannot be blindsided. Alone, you are a target. Together, you are a problem they did not anticipate and cannot solve. Think about who would stand up for you right now if someone attacked your reputation. If the answer is uncertain, start building today. Trick 9. Tactical transparency. This appears to contradict strategic opacity. It does not. Strategic opacity protects your position while you are building. Tactical transparency is the moment you choose to reveal. Not because you are forced to, but because revealing at this precise moment causes maximum damage to the person who came for you. Dirty players expect secrecy from you because secrecy is how they operate. When you are instead openly transparent, voluntarily, confidently, completely, you remove the mystery they were counting on. And what you reveal is so clearly defensible that the accusation itself begins to look like the dishonest act. Someone accuses you of unethical conduct in a professional arrangement. People are listening. Reputations are moving in real time. The ordinary response is denial. The tactical transparency response is to release everything: the contract, the full correspondence, the documented timeline, the testimony of every party involved. This volume of voluntary, organized, confident evidence does not just defend you. It reframes the accuser as someone willing to make malicious claims without foundation. You were never hiding. You were waiting for the right moment to show everything. And that moment just destroyed them. Transparency deployed strategically is not vulnerability. It is a weapon, one that leaves no marks on you and no exit for them. You are not opening up because you are desperate. You are opening up because you are ready. And ready is the most dangerous thing a person can be. The difference between weakness and strength is not what you reveal. It is when you choose to reveal it. Trick 10. Long game domination. This is the final trick, the one beneath every other technique. The principle that transforms individual moves into a complete system, and a complete system into a life dirty players simply cannot penetrate. Dirty players are optimizing for today, the immediate win, the quick manipulation, the short-term advantage. They are sprinters who have confused the first 100 meters for the entire race. You are not racing them. You are building something they will never be able to touch. Long-game domination means you are not trying to win this argument. You are building the credibility that makes people believe you by default in every future argument. You are not trying to defeat this one person. You are becoming the kind of person who structurally cannot be credibly attacked, because your record speaks so loudly that accusations against it become implausible before they finish being made. Every time you choose integrity when a shortcut was available, you make a deposit in your reputation. Every time you deliver results instead of excuses, you compound your credibility. Every time you treat someone well when there was nothing to gain, you create an alliance you have not yet needed but will. These deposits accumulate invisibly until suddenly they are undeniable. Machiavelli wrote that the best fortress is to be loved by your people, not feared, not admired from a distance, loved, in the specific way that people love someone they have watched show up consistently, treat them well, and deliver on their word when it would have been easier not to. No dirty tactic defeats someone who has constructed that fortress. There is no lie sharp enough, no rumor fast enough, no campaign coordinated enough, because the people who know you already know the truth before the attack arrives. The ultimate victory is not defeating this person in this conflict. It is becoming someone their entire arsenal cannot reach. Now you have all 10. The mirror of exposure, strategic opacity, controlled reaction, the reverse accusation, strategic withdrawal, asymmetric intelligence, preemptive framing, the alliance arsenal, tactical transparency, long-game domination. This is not a collection of tricks. It is a complete architecture for moving through a world where not everyone plays clean, without losing the thing that actually makes you worth protecting, your integrity. There are deeper layers to what I have shared today, psychological mechanisms that go further than what any open platform will allow me to discuss publicly. What you have received today is the foundation. Use it, master it. Start with the trick that fits where you are right now. Practice it until it becomes instinct. Then add another. Over time, these stop being techniques you reach for consciously. They become the natural way you move through the world. Use these to protect yourself. Use them to defend what is genuinely yours. Do not become the thing you are fighting. The world has enough dirty players. What it desperately needs is more people who know how to defeat them while remaining completely clean. If this changed how you see conflict and power, hit the like button. Subscribe if you want more of this, the kind of content the algorithm does not always want you to find. Drop a comment telling me which of these 10 you are deploying first. And share this with someone who is in the middle of a fight they do not know how to win. One final truth before you go. 5 years from now, the person who played dirty against you will still be playing dirty, still running the same small games, still burning the same bridges, still wondering why nothing they build ever lasts. And you, if you apply what you learned today, will have built something so solid, so established, so grounded in real results and real relationships, that their tactics will not even find a surface to attach to. They chose the fast game. You are playing the permanent one. You do not get dirty. You do not get even. You get untouchable. Subscribe for more tricks to neutralize your enemies.